Let's just dive right in. If you've been job searching lately and it feels less like a career move and more like you're pushing a giant boulder uphill every single day, well, this explainer is for you. Because right now, so many of us, especially in our late 20s and early 30s, are feeling stuck and discouraged, and if we're being really honest, a little embarrassed. You might be applying to dozens of jobs, maybe even hundreds, and just hearing silence. Or you make it to that final round, you feel that little spark of hope, and then you get ghosted. Or you keep getting that same email, you know, the one that says, "We went with a more experienced candidate," and it just feels like a punch to the gut. If any of that sounds familiar, I really need you to hear this right at the start.
I want to be crystal clear about this. No matter what that little voice in your head is whispering after another rejection email lands, you are not failing.
And I know when you scroll through LinkedIn, it's so easy to feel like everyone else has it all figured out, doesn't it? But that highlight reel, it's a trap. You are not behind. You are on your own timeline, your own unique path.
And finally, let's be absolutely clear. You are not unqualified. You are navigating a deeply strange and incredibly competitive hiring market. Your worth, your skills, your potential, none of that is defined by the chaos of this system.
So, this isn't going to be another explainer about tweaking your resume header or using the perfect buzzword. We're going to get human here. We're going to talk about why this process is so emotionally painful, and more importantly, how to stay hopeful and resilient without spiraling into self-blame. So just take a breath with me. Let's talk about what's really going on. Let's start with the psychology, because understanding why job hunting feels so heavy is really the first step. You see, a job application, it isn't just a document. It's so much more. It's an act of hope. It's a quiet way of saying, here I am, here's what I can do, and here's what I'm hoping my future looks like. It's incredibly vulnerable.
And when you get rejected or ghosted, there's this huge internal conflict, right? Your logical brain kicks in and says, it's just business, it's not personal. But your emotional brain, your very biology, it registers it totally differently. It hears, you don't belong, you're not chosen. And that reaction, that's not you being dramatic, it's biology. Humans are wired for belonging. Our survival once depended on being part of a tribe. So rejection in any form, even from a job you barely wanted, actually hits the same neural pathways in your brain that register physical pain. If you've ever thought, wow, this hurts way more than it should, that's not a flaw. That's your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do.
But there's an even deeper layer here, especially for those of us in our late 20s and early 30s. This is a time of a huge identity shift. The external structures of school and grades and clear next steps, they're all gone. Suddenly, your job becomes a primary anchor for your sense of purpose, your stability, even your identity. So when that anchor is shaky, when the job search is going badly, it doesn't just feel like a simple no. It feels like a fundamental crack in who you are, and it sparks these questions. Am I behind? Am I doing something wrong? Why is everyone else getting ahead and I'm not?
So here's the crucial thing I want you to get. You are not alone in this. This is the truth most people just don't talk about. A lot of your peers are secretly rewriting their resumes late at night, telling themselves, no one can know how stressed I am. A lot of people who look stable on the outside are deeply unhappy in their jobs. You are simply early to a truth that many won't admit. Finding a job right now is way, way harder than it should be, and it has very little to do with you. So, now that we understand our internal feelings, let's shift our focus to the external reality of the job market, because it's time to talk about why the system itself feels so broken, and why, I'll say it again, it's not you. Just look at this number. For a single open role, especially a popular remote one, companies are getting anywhere from 300 to over 1,000 applications. Think about that. It's not a talent pool, it's an ocean. Recruiters often don't even see 90% of the applicants because these applicant tracking systems, these ATS filters, these screen people out before a human being ever even lays eyes on their file. And this right here is the hidden reality of rejection. You, the applicant, you only see that final cold email that says, we've gone in another direction. But that email almost never means you weren't qualified. It almost always means something boring and completely impersonal happened behind the scenes. The budget got pulled, the hiring manager's friend applied, and a referral is just faster. They decided to hire internally. The role's responsibilities changed halfway through. They needed someone with some obscure piece of experience you could never have predicted. It's a numbers game, and the house rules are often totally invisible.
I really want you to let this one sink in. The rejection you're getting is not, and never will be, a report card on your worth. It's a reflection of a system that is overwhelmed, imperfect, and often, frankly, nonsensical. Hearing no in this environment says nothing about who you are or what you're capable of.
Okay, so we've established that the system is tough and the process hurts. Now what? Let's talk strategy. But these are gentle ones. This is not the wake up at 4 a.m. and grind yourself into dust kind of advice. These are practical, compassionate things that actually work.
All right, let's walk through these. First, rewrite your resume for both humans and machines. This just means using keywords from the job description and keeping the formatting super simple. It's not cheating, it's just translating your skills. Second, apply intentionally. It's time to stop the shotgun approach. Seriously, focusing on fewer, better aligned roles will always get you better results. Third, use your network. A warm introduction is the single biggest accelerator in hiring. It doesn't have to feel weird, just reach out to people you admire. Next, learn something small consistently. Not a whole new degree, just a short course or a tutorial to keep your confidence alive. Also, track your effort, not the results. You can control how many quality applications you send. Focus on that momentum. And finally, and this is maybe the most important one, rest and pivot. I'm serious. If you feel burned out, pause. And when you come back, be ready to change your strategy if it's not working. Okay, this next part is the one most career explainers just skip right over, the emotional resilience plan. Because persistence, that's the ingredient most people underestimate. And I don't mean blind optimism. I mean the quiet belief that you deserve a life that fits you and the willingness to keep going until you find it.
This is a fear that can be absolutely paralyzing. You get another no, and your brain immediately jumps to this conclusion that this is it. This is how it's always going to be. You start to see it as a sign, a prophecy about your future.
But the truth is, no. A rejection is just data. It's a closed door, not a final verdict on your potential. In fact, a no is often a redirection. The job you lost might have been one that would have completely drained you. The company that ghosted you might have been a toxic place to work. It's a redirection away from something that just wasn't the right fit. And here's another classic anxiety trigger. You open social media and it feels like a highlight reel of everyone else's success. Promotions, new jobs, exciting projects. It's so easy to feel like you're being left in the dust. The reframe here is so crucial. You're not behind. You're on a detour. And it's a detour that almost everyone takes at some point in their career, whether they post about it or not. People land great jobs at 28, 32, 37, 45. It always feels late until suddenly it feels right. Your timeline is your own. And let's never, ever forget this simple but powerful truth. The job market can feel like this impenetrable wall of no's. It can feel like you're just shouting into the void. But in reality, you only need one single match. One yes changes everything. So you are absolutely allowed to hope. In this context, hope is not a naive, passive wish. Hope is an active strategy. Hope is what keeps you applying after a tough rejection. Hope is what keeps you learning a new skill on a Tuesday night. Hope is what keeps you open to opportunities that you can't even see yet. It is the fuel for persistence. So let me just leave you with this final thought. Finding a job today isn't a simple transaction. It is an emotional marathon. So if you're feeling discouraged, you're human. If you're tired, you're normal. And if you're still trying, if you're still showing up for yourself in this process, you are incredibly strong. The very fact that you're here tells me everything I need to know. You haven't given up on yourself. And that is what makes you exactly the kind of person who will eventually get where you're meant to go. Your future career isn't running away from you. It's just taking the long way around, this scenic route that builds you into the person who is truly ready for it. So please, keep going. You are so much closer than it feels right now.